Hi, how are you? My name is Angel. Fragrance video. If you are new here, this is my favorite thing to talk about in the entire world. I'm like giddy. I'm giddy. I thought I would address my most asked question on Instagram. Every day, probably I get 1 or 2 DMs asking the same question. Angel, what can you recommend under X amount? What budget fragrance can you recommend that smells good and lasts forever and is magical and sexy and also a signature and works in the office and on a date and on the weekend that costs under X amount? Like magical, amazing fragrances that do all the things. First of all, I just think it's a bit of an unrealistic expectation to have of a fragrance that it's going to be very affordable and also an extreme performer and also a workhorse. I just feel like usually 2 out of 3 of those things will happen. You're very unlikely to find a fragrance that's a workhorse and a performer and extremely affordable. That is of course in my experience. I'm all opinions here. Fragrance of course is personal, so everything that I say is an opinion. A discerning one, I must say, but an opinion nonetheless. All that to say that I decided to select 10 fragrances from my collection that cost under 10,000 Kenya shillings, which is about $100. Our shilling has suffered, so maybe like $90, child. Can I get into it? I can't wait to start. That's enough of an intro. Angel, it's your channel. You do what you want. You do what you want. Just start talking. Okay, we're gonna start with some freshies. It will come as no surprise to anyone that has been watching this fragrance for any amount of time that the first budget freshie that I'm going to recommend is Elizabeth Arden's White Tea. I have sung the praises of this fragrance since it came out. Gosh, how long has it been? It's been years now that I've been shouting from the rooftops about white tea. However, I want to recommend one of the flankers now more than the original. I can't believe I'm saying it. But I'm actually a little bit more in love with White Tea Mandarin Blossom, which is one of the flankers. They have quite a few flankers out now. They have Wild Rose. Wild Rose is okay, and I love Rose, but that's okay. They have Vanilla Orchid that I don't like. They have Ginger Lily, which I just find so vague. It's just so vague. I don't quite understand that fragrance. And there's another one. Oh, and this one, right? Is that all? I feel like I'm missing one. And the original, yes. And this one, yes. This is the Mandarin Blossom flanker of white tea. I'm obsessed. I find it somewhat, I don't want to say fresher, more zesty. It's supposed to be a Mandarin Blossom take on the fragrance. So it's supposed to smell like the flower of a mandarin tree, like a tangerine tree, like little pixies. I don't feel like it smells like the flower. I feel like it smells like the rind of the fruit. Like it's a very zesty, very, very zesty, and I mean zest like an orange zest or a tangerine zest, you know, like a lime zest. Very, very zesty version of this fragrance. Beautiful. I think if you're maybe tired of the original white tea, this would probably be an interesting new perspective on the fragrance, where you still get to enjoy your white tea, but with a little something, you know what I'm saying? I really, 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 really like this flanker. Running through it. It's been months. I'm halfway through. I'm trying to look through. Yeah, I'm about there. About halfway through that bottle. What's going to happen now? But I absolutely love this one as well as the original one. I don't think that any of the other flankers so far are anything to write home about, but I stand, open to correction because sometimes things change and tastes change. The other freshie that I want to recommend, the second freshie that I want to recommend, I can already tell this video is going to be just absurdly long. We might have to break it into 2 parts. We'll see. The other freshie that I'd like to recommend is PROVOCATEUR Electric. PROVOCATEUR is a lingerie designer. They do high-end, really risque, classic, like what you'd see in the movies kind of lingerie, like not just like a cute bra and panties, Victoria's Secret style. They're doing the garters and the teddies and the whole thing, okay? Electric is, I don't think honestly that I even own a high-end fragrance that I could compare to this, like a higher than this budget fragrance that I could compare to this. It's a really like dynamic, figgy, zesty, citrusy, a little bit tart fragrance. It's so gorgeous. I can't. It is, oh my god, very, very electric, very, very, like I'd say white tea is like a bright green, like a lime green. This is like a neon green. The coloring is perfect, like a chartreuse kind of color. Beautiful. It kind of straddles the fence between quite fresh and a little bit sexy. Most fragrances from this this designer lean into sexiness. Of course, the whole brand is allure and sensuality and seduction, so I understand that. But yeah, highly recommend. They come quite cheap these days. I know when the line first came out, they were kind of supposed to be as high end as the lingerie, but they just didn't quite take off. I think the marketing was off when they first started to do fragrance, and so they just never took off as a fragrance brand. So you'll tend to find them in discount shops. You'll find them online, heavily discounted. They're not as expensive as when they first came out. So this is quite easy to get around the 6,000 shilling mark, but gorgeous. It's just formulation beautiful. I also feel like all the fragrances from this line specifically perform quite well. I'm not going to say magnificently, you know, it's not going to last you 2 days, but pretty well, especially considering price point. This, for instance, will outlast white tea. So there you are. If you are in the market for something fresh but a little sexy, you want something for hot days that you can wear all day and still wear into the evening, this is probably the closest you're gonna get from what I own. Though I do think that worn well, most fresh fragrances can lean a little. Okay, there's a way to do these things. I need to do another perfume 101 video. Anyway, we're gonna move on to roses. It's actually a miracle that I didn't start with roses. I'm trying to not be quite as predictable as I've been in the past. Though I'm sure if you've been on this channel again, you know the first rose I'm going to talk about, Stella by Stella McCARTNEY, love of my life. This is the fragrance in my collection that I've owned the longest. All the fragrances that I used to wear then, when I had this, when I first got this, I no longer wear. So this has really lasted the test of time. I bought my first one in 2007 in South Africa. I had gone over there for a debate club championship, an Africa championship, and I bought it at the airport. It had very recently come out at that time, maybe a couple of years. And I've never stopped buying it. It's just beautiful. Very English rose. Of course, Stella McCartney is English, so you'd expect quite a well-behaved, prim, proper tea rose. Very tea rose, actually. I would say color red, but not the deepest, darkest, most like witchy red. Much more of a classic red tea rose. Lovely, soft, like, but not soft in performance, but quite soft in nature. Very ladylike. Very, very ladylike, you know. She makes you want to pronounce your T's properly and sit up straight and drink tea with your pinky in the air. Absolutely gorgeous, darling. Really, really enjoy this fragrance. I've never stopped buying it. This is absolutely top 2 at least of the roses in my entire collection. I love this fragrance. Highly recommend to rose lovers. If you don't actually like the scent of rose, you will not enjoy this because it is a true rose. So it's not rose like see, like Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel is a rose surrounded by many other things. You could call that fragrance like a patchouli fragrance. You could also call it an oriental. Rose is prominent, but it's not. But it's kind of it's an ensemble. It's an ensemble cast. Whereas Rose is the star of the show. So if you don't actually enjoy the scent of roses, which some people claim not to, it's your right to be wrong. If you don't actually enjoy the scent of roses, you will not like this. But if you do, oh, you need this. You absolutely. Oh. Are you joking? Gorgeous. Prettiest. It settles down beautifully to like a musky, clean kind of rose scented, like you showered in rose scented bar soap kind of way. Just beautiful, ladylike, very English. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Another quite ladylike rose. This is more of a French style rose. So she's a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more, you know, more likely to take a lover. You know what I mean? Angel. Or be taken as a lover. She could also be more likely to be a mistress. Okay, whereas Stella is much more well-mannered. Okay, she has much more to lose. Estates with horses on and children in private school. She has the same but doesn't care. Okay, a little more of a wild child. This is Chloe. I haven't even named her. Chloe, Absolu de Parfum. I wore the original Chloe Eau de Parfum a lot in uni, like my second and third year. In Vancouver at the time, she was blowing up. She was everywhere. So after a time, I couldn't. I like to be a special snowflake. I don't like to smell like everybody else. I can't do it. I can't do it. This is one of my big problems with Vie Est Belle. But let's not bring her into this. This is a good day. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's not even talk about her. So I stopped wearing Eau de Parfum, and very recently, last year I think, purchased the Absolu de Parfum. Different enough, just different enough from the Eau de Parfum for me to not feel like I was wearing my 21-year-old fragrance. Do you know what I mean? It feels more grown up. It feels a bit richer. It's a rose fragrance with it's a rose fragrance with a bit of amber, a bit of patchouli, quite a bit of musk. Is that really patchouli? I don't know. There's an earthy something in the base. I don't know if I want to call that patchouli because it's not quite as intensely dark as that. It is just a bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of a minx, a little bit sexier, I would say, than Stella. If you wanted to buy two and you wanted one for daytime and one for evenings, maybe, I'd say get Stella for daytime and then Absolu for nighttime. She's definitely a rose. Again, for a rose lover, these are probably more like hot pink roses, like maybe not quite as classic as Stella, you know. She has a little bit of edge in her, but like we're not going all the way to like Noir de Noir by Tom Ford edgy. No, just edgy enough. And she probably wears her edge underneath, so like her outfit will be very ladylike, very pencil skirt, pumps, a nice blouse, maybe even with a pussy bow, but underneath she's wearing like a leather bra. Like she's you know, like just sexy enough, you know, just a little pinch, a little pinch of sexy, beautiful. Really love this fragrance. Oh my god, yeah, quite French, very French style rose. I really like it. You'll find this just under 10K most places. What shall we move on to next? Let's talk, since we're talking flowers, I'm excited. More flowers. We're gonna get into intense white florals, okay? I know for a lot of people their experience of white flowers is probably classics like Stella de Pleasures, which is very classic. Very dated, I feel. I like it actually. I really like that fragrance, but I can understand why some people maybe are not like, you know, falling head over heels, because maybe it's just kind of like date stamped in their mind, late 90s, early 2000s, you know? And I think if you feel like you want to smell floral, but you want floral to not smell like your mom, you know, you want a little bit more modern, a little bit more sexy, a little bit of shimmy. You need to be looking for more of a warm, deep, intense white floral. What shall I begin with? I'll start with Michael Kors. I hate this bottle so much. I just find this bottle so ugly. I swear if Kim had never talked about this, I would never have touched this. Kim Kardashian once did an interview about this fragrance, well, about Michael. But Michael and Michael Kors are pretty much the same fragrance. They are both eponymous fragrances from the house of Michael Kors. Kim Kardashian is who I'm talking about. Kimmy, like she lives down the road. Kim Kardashian West mentioned this in an interview when they were just blowing, like maybe 2010, 2011. I know it was early uni for me, and she said that she loved this fragrance. This was one of her favorites. Of course, at the time, Kimmy was telling me what to do, okay? Kimmy was in charge of my life. What she's buying is what we're wearing. You're wearing bandage dresses, that's what we're doing. You're wearing platform heels, that's what we're doing. Color blocking, that's what Kim was in charge, okay? So Kim said Michael Kors, and I did what needed to be done. I went to Sephora, I bought it. It's so ugly, I hate this bottle so much. It's a matter of opinion, which I'm entitled to. You're entitled to a different one. This is hideous. The fragrance though. Actually, the first fragrance she ever made of her own, like her own line, she modeled on this. It smells almost exactly the same, but abysmal performance, okay? Also, you can smell the cheapness a little bit more in that one. This, however, gosh, it doesn't get old. Sweet, bubblegummy, white floral. Sometimes tuberose and gardenia together can smell a little bit like bubblegum, and that's what this does. Like beautiful, if you know spout gum with the juicy center, a little bit like spout banana, a little bit like that. Tuberose can do that sometimes, can get a little bit like a sweet, you know, when bananas are just starting to get the black spots on them, the way the kitchen smells, like forget how the banana looks, but that sweetness of banana ripening, there's that kind of in the background of these flowers, and it works beautifully. It sounds chaotic when I say it. I know it sounds madness. Works beautifully with the flowers. Bit of patchouli as well, but overall you get a very intensely sexy. You know that smell of ripening banana is like a little bit heady, kind of goes right to your head. Imagine that with sexy white flowers, intense, very evening. Maybe you could wear it daytime, but I prefer this for evening. It's nice for dates, like an evening sunset date. The men eat this up like crazy. They like, it's very Moorish. It's the kind of thing, it makes you go like that. It's very tasty. What am I talking about? But it's a very tasty fragrance. Like it makes you, I feel like something tastes good. They love it, you know, because men are children, it's candy, you know, it's kind of candy for them. I just say anything here on Blue Ivy's internet. Because men are children. Sorry. Okay. Beautiful, subtly sexy fragrance. Performance is excellent, especially on the sillage front. She owns her space, honey, okay? If you're like at dinner in a restaurant, you might be complimented from someone at the next table. Like, is that you? You smell really good. She has presence. Doesn't last exceptionally long, but I mean, all you need for an evening is a good like 4, 5, 6 hours, right? Right? Yeah, so I mean, she's all you need for a nice, like a warm evening. I don't generally like white florals in the cold. There are specific ones that I can work with in colder weather, but generally white florals get a little bit tingly for my nose in here when it's cold, but bloom beautifully in warm weather, like mid to warm weather. So good. So highly recommend. Beautiful. I've been talking for too long. I'm going to cut this video in half because I can't. So I'm going to cut this in half so I can deal with one at a time, and I'll be right back. If you've enjoyed this half of the video, please make sure to go and see part 2 that I will link. Where is that eye usually? Oh girl, you gotta get consistent. Okay, so if I edit, the eye should be here. Whatever will be, okay? There's an eye up there that you can click and go and see part 2, and I will also link it in the description box of this video. Child, maybe I need a drink between these 2 videos. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Love you. Mean it. Bye.